Morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the crop protection, harvesting, followed by storage, and how the practices done throughout the activity of agriculture can be stored in a proper and significant way for its proper utilization. Today, we will discuss the topic crop improvement. All the agricultural practices, if followed properly, help in increasing the production of grains. So we have discussed so many activities within the agricultural sector, starting from the plowing or tilling, followed by sowing, irrigation, protection, harvesting, and storage. If all the practices they are followed in a proper systematic way, it will obviously increase the production of the grains. To meet the demand of ever increasing population of India and to feed every citizen of India, a revolution was brought about in India in the 1960s. So, to fulfill the demand of this ever increasing population of India, as well as to feed the every citizen of India, a special revolution was brought about in the 1960s, and this is called as Green Revolution. What was done? High yielding means productivity was very much high, and dwarf varieties means the height of the plant was very much short. Dwarf varieties of Mexican wheat were introduced in India. So high yielding dwarf varieties of Mexican wheat were introduced in our country, and these varieties were resistant to pest. They were not attacked by any such type of pest, diseases, and water lodging. So might it has increased the production of the wheat crop manifold times. A question may arise in your mind that what is the benefit of cultivating a dwarf variety with respect to taller variety? Simply you imagine that the wheat crop is of one of taller variety and the other farmer is growing the variety having dwarf in length. So simply you may consider that the differences that are mentioned here. The first, the taller variety crop, it will take more time to mature. May that obviously to go through its vegetative growth and then the sexual growth, obviously it will take more time to mature. Whereas in the case of dwarf variety, it will take less time to mature. Second point of difference, taller variety will absorb more nutrients to grow. Obviously, the taller variety, the vegetative length, the vegetative growth, it would be much more there, and to fulfill that, it will absorb more and more nutrients from the soil to fulfill the growth process. Whereas in the case of dwarf variety, it will absorb less nutrients to grow because it will grow in a short duration of time, and the nutrients it would be utilized in the proper growth and development of the product of that particular plant. Third, less number of tons may be derived in a year. What does it means? Means if a crop takes 4 months to mature, simply if the taller variety, it takes suppose 4 months to mature. So then in a year, there are 12 months divided by 4 means 3 round of crops the farmer can get it from their fields in case of taller variety. Just like if the other farmer is growing dwarf variety, he may get more number of tons in a year. For example, if a crop having dwarf variety, it takes around about 3 months to mature, then in a year 12 divided by 3 means 4 round of crops he may get. Fourth point, more investment would be required to maintain in the field. So obviously, if the farmer is growing this type of taller variety within his field, so obviously it will require more investments. Might if it is taking suppose 4 months to mature, the crop is standing in the field for 4 months, it would require proper attention, proper caring, proper management practices of the farmer. Whereas in the case of this dwarf variety, less investment would be required to maintain, because obviously if the crop is standing for 3 months in a field, it would be requiring less attentiveness, less caring or less management as compared to this taller variety. Fifth point, it would be more sustainable. Now I have explained you that if a crop is standing for 4 months in a field, it is more susceptible to different types of diseases, pests, or different types of environmental factors. Whereas on the other hand, if the crop is of dwarf variety, it would be less susceptible because it is standing only for 3 months to get matured in a field. It would be less susceptible to pest or diseases or other different types of environmental conditions. Sixth point, quality would be inferior in the case of taller variety because the nutrients, they are mostly utilized in the growth process for the proper vegetatively growth. Whereas in the case of dwarf variety, quality would be superior. So just like the same way, one more point we may add, the quantity would be less per unit area in the case of taller variety, whereas in the case of dwarf variety, quantity would be much more per unit area in the case of dwarf variety. So we may have discussed that how a taller variety is not so much fruitful as compared to a dwarf variety. Now the first technique we have discussed to increase the productivity, that was introducing the dwarf varieties of Mexican wheat. The another way of improving production or yield is by developing new varieties of crops. And this can be done by cross breeding two different varieties. So it can be done by selecting two different varieties of the same species and by doing cross breeding technique, and the phenomenon is also known as hybridization. So what we do in that practice, let us go through that. Two varieties of plants, say A and B, of desired characteristics are chosen. So suppose two varieties of plants A and B of desired characteristics are chosen. Anthers from plant A are removed. So the anthers from the flower of plant A are removed, and this process is called emasculation. And anthers from plant B are taken and its pollen are dusted on stigmas of A. So stigmas of A are then covered by paper bags. Before, we have to understand the structure of flower, that do we have discussed in class 6 also and class 7 also. We have discussed that within a flower, it is having four whorls. The flower is having four whorls. The outermost whorl is greenish in color, that is called sepal. Just next to the sepal, the next whorl is present, that is called petals. In some of the flowers it is brightly colored, some having fragrance also. The third whorl is the male part, that is the stamen, having anthers and filaments, these red and these yellow tube-like structures, that are the male part. And the fourth whorl is the carpel or pistil, that you may see that this one is showing the stigma and the style, and this one the swollen base, that is called the ovary. Within that, ovule is present. So what we have to do, that we have taken two varieties, suppose A and B, and this is variety A, and we have to remove the anthers from this particular flower. So anthers, it would be removed, and then only the female part would be left behind within the flower, and it would be called as emasculated flower, and the process name would be called as emasculation. So suppose just in the diagram, I am going to reflect you that from that particular bisexual flower of variety A, I have removed that particular male part, that was stamens. I have removed all that stamens, and the process name, it would be called as emasculation. The flower would be called as emasculated flower. So in this flower, only female part is present. Now what we have to do, the next step, that we have to collect the anthers. Suppose this is variety B, we have to collect the pollen grains from the anthers of this particular flower and we have to dust it upon that particular emasculated flower. Now, after collection of those pollen grains, we have to dust those pollen grains upon this stigma of the flower and the process of pollination, it would be completed and it would give us the desired result after certain number of days. Here I am showing you two different varieties of chili. The first one you may see it is of smaller length. The other one it is of having bit bigger length. Both would be having different features. This one is too much bitter, but this one is not too much bitter. Might the farmer will try to grow those types of chili plants which would have much more productive value as well as qualitative value and quantitative value. So might if this type of chili fruit it would be bitter, its market value would be increased. So in this activity we'll try to do the cross breeding of the two plant different varieties of the chili plants. Go. So here you may see that one flower we have taken of suppose variety A of the chili plant, and you may see within the flower that this one is the sepal, this white color structure is the petal, and these greenish structures, swollen structures at the top, these are called anthers having the pollen grains, and within that one at the central region you may see this one is the thread like structure, white structure, this one is the stigma. What we have to do, we have to remove this with the help of forceps. We'll remove the anthers. So here you may see in the flower that I have removed all the male parts, only the female part would be present here, it is being visible to us, and that the process name is called emasculation, and it would be called as emasculated flower, means only female part is present within the flower. Now I am going to take the another variety of the plant, the flower that you may see having the sepals, petals within that these greenish structures that you may be able to see, these are the anthers and this is the stigma. What I will do, I have to just pluck this flower and I have to dust the anthers upon the stigma of that particular flower. So here you may see I am going to remove the petals so that the stamens may be more clearly visible to you. So that you might may be seeing these blob-like structures, swollen structures, these are the anthers having pollen grains, the male part of the flower, and this one is the female part of the flower, that is the carpel or pistil. This one having a top stigma, style and ovary. So I have to dust this particular pollen grains upon the stigma of this particular flower. So I will do like that upon the stigma of the particular flower. Better I will keep it here over that and I will try to wrap it with a paper bag.
Go.
So I have to cover it with a paper bag so that the further pollination may not take place. So that the pollination has been taken place and the fruit that would be developing, it would be of hybrid variety. So by such crossbreeding of two different or desired varieties, seeds of a hybrid variety can be obtained. And this work is done at agricultural universities and research institutes. These hybrid seeds are then distributed amongst the farmers to increase the productivity of the crop plants. Do you know GM? GM crops, it stands for genetically modified crops, are the plants whose DNA has been modified using various techniques of genetic engineering. It is a branch of biotechnology within biology sector. Here that genes are modified to get the desired results within certain crop plants. So DNA of these plants are modified to impart them characteristics that are not naturally present in them. So DNA are so much modified up to so much extent that those characteristics were not present naturally in them, and they are modified to increase the quality and the quantity of the product to get much more market value. So such characteristics includes resistance to pests and diseases, longer shelf life, tolerance to various abiotic stresses, to name a few. So obviously the plants, it would be resistance to pest and diseases. They would not be attacked by those types of pest or diseases. They would have longer shelf life. You may understand what do we mean by shelf life. For example, you consider a fruit, suppose mango, and if the variety is not having so much longer shelf life, what would may occur? May that the farmer will pluck the fruit, he will send it to the market with the help of transport, but due to not having the longer shelf life, may that within the transportation period, may that the fruit may start going to so much ripe that it would not be having so much market value. So if the product is having longer shelf life, so in that case what may it may happen that during the transportation period also that particular fruit or vegetable will sustain and it would get a proper market value for the maximum increase of the income to the farmers. So find out the names of some genetically modified crops. So you may go through that there are so many different types of vegetables or fruits that are sold in the market that they have been modified genetically. For example, brinjal, for example, cotton, guava, tomatoes. So these are the different, so many different that examples we may put in the list that they all are genetically modified. Till so far here, we have completed this chapter. In the next class, we'll discuss about the question answers part. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe and stay healthy at your homes.